how are my favorite history students in the entire world today? Hope you guys are doing okay. What I'm going to do right now is answer for you the question you've all been thinking about, and that what exactly does Chris Johnson do during the or has he been doing during the quarantine? I always mess everything up. Anyway, so I want to tell you some of the things I've been doing during our quarantine moment here. I've been doing dozens of crossword puzzles. I got to tell you, lots of these. I only do the New York Times Sunday puzzle, which is the tough one, but I've done dozens of those. I've been doing some puzzles. I really like Charles Wysocki. Only do the 1000s plus. Those are the ones that are kind of a good challenge for us. I relearned really how to play cribbage, and my wife and I have been having just a little bit of a tournament between each other to see how and which one of us is going to win over the whole period of the quarantine.
Are you talking about me again?
No, honey, just good things. But she also wanted me to hold this up. I'm probably doing that too. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I've been playing a little bit of cribbage. That's been fun. I've been binge watching British crime procedurals. Really like Foyle's War, and also one called My Life is Murder. Those are on Acorn for Prime. Those are really fun, couple fun British procedurals to watch. What else was I going to tell you guys? I've been messing with my grandfather's photographs from World War One. That's kind of cool. He took his own camera to World War One and he took his own pictures. I guess make some rough prints for you guys. And I've been digitalizing those and thinking about trying to figure out what I could do with them. This one I really like. It's African soldiers. They call them French colonials that were there, and I think in Marseille in World War One. I am so bored that I have been writing my own story. I got a lot of stories I got to tell you, and I'm writing stories about my youth in Mexico and Boy Scouts and football and fun stuff like that to take up my time. I've been doing a lot of cooking. We've been getting a gobble, and I don't know if you guys know, like meal in the box. It's kind of cool. It's like our equivalent of going out to eat. I've been doing quite a bit of baking. Got myself a really cool book, Flour, Water, Salt, and Yeast. I gotta tell you, the first time I made it, my big loaf of bread, it almost looked like that one on the cover. Pretty darn amazing. The guy has a particular technique where you do all your preparation in this big old tub and bucket, and it really does work kind of really cool. I made a poulish, I think it's called poulish. That's where you do your yeast the night ahead and 14 hours of letting it rise and then put the rest of it in. That kind of cool. You got these weird kind of basket things made out of wood for the proofing or the rising part of it. That's been quite a bit of fun. I've been doing that. Been playing guitar, of course. I think I'm actually getting better than I have been in quite a long time. And of course, I've been grading your papers, watching, reading your history projects, watching some of the presentations you guys did. Some really cool ones, I have to tell you. I want to really do a shout out to Joe Lewis, just an amazing presentation he did, and I played a really cool song. And Jamie Contreras, just what she did was amazing. I don't know how they did, some kind of time-lapse photography where she did a painting of the American Revolution and kind of just exploded out in front of your eyes over the period of about 8 or so minutes. But and for the rest of you guys, I promised, I had said to you guys I wanted to put the presentations, of course, to publish them, but then I ran into all these kind of legal issues that if anyone would make any fun of or any kind of use anything that the student does in the classroom in any negative kind of way, I'd find myself in some kind of difficulty. So sorry about that, but there were some really wonderful presentations that became were part of the history project, and I appreciate that. So here's what you're really interested in, of course, is I want to tell you what's going on to get us ready for the final exam. It's pretty simple at this point. We have a limited number of days, of course, until the final. Everything has to come in on May the 22nd. I need you guys to go through the videos, and I know some of you have been doing this religiously, and that's super cool. But I also know that because you don't have the regular time class, that a lot of you have been procrastinating, and you're putting a lot of burden on yourself to try to get through quite a bit of time and material relatively quickly. But I hope you guys will try to make the final push to make that happen. I need you to go through the videos, of course. I want you to go through the class notes associated with them. In some ways, maybe it'd be a good idea to have the two of them together. As you're watching the video, you could look at the class notes and make notes upon them, of course, to really give yourself a firm foundation in everything. Just as a special note for the History 102 students, of course, for the Great Depression, you have a PowerPoint presentation that goes along with the lecture. And the problem is that I couldn't put them together and sync them, but if you could somehow link them together in the way you view them, I think that could be really helpful for you. So I gave you the study sheets already, and really all that does in terms of our situation now is it tells you more or less what to focus on, focus your attention on, of course. And if you go through all that stuff, you'll set yourself up well as we begin to approach the final exam. The final exam will be published on Friday, May the 15th, so that's when it's going to be coming to you guys, and that will give you 1 full week to prepare to do it, to get it all done. When you do those YouTubes, you get analytics, you can kind of see how people watch the videos when you have a channel like that. And I noticed that, on the approach to the second midterm, all of a sudden there's a big mountain, and then of course the mountain just disappears. And I'm hoping that there will be a mountain that will lead us to the final exam where you guys are really beginning to, look through all the material. Anyway, we'll do a Zoom review sessions for each individual class on Monday the 18th and Tuesday the 19th. And of course, your individual class will Zoom at the time of your class, with the one exception that the 8 o'clock class, Monday, Wednesday, 8 o'clock class will start at 8:30. It's just too difficult for people to get really mobilized at 8 o'clock in the morning. So 8:30 is giving in just a little bit, okay? When you are done with your exam, of course, and you do not have to wait till the due date, you can get it in as soon as you want to. I want you to submit it through Zoom, through Canvas, submit it through Canvas so that we can get that in and get that graded as quickly as possible. The last day, the last minute that you are allowed to submit your final exam is at 11:55 on May the 22nd. It's Friday, May the 22nd. Look at my calendar real quick to make sure that that's the case. That will be the final moment. And it is not only the final moment, of course, for the final exam, it's the final moment for all materials that you might, any outstanding assignments that you haven't submitted. And you're welcome to turn them in. Doesn't matter what it is, I'll still accept it until the final moment as far as the class is concerned. So 11:55, May the 22nd, and I hope most of you will be done long before that, okay? That'll be the moment that I'm expecting it all. If you are interested, of course, in doing the final exam early, then you have to contact me individually, but that is something we could work out, and then you can get through it a little bit sooner if you really want to, okay? I do want to just make a comment on the grading. Canvas and I are not exactly in sync in the way that we perceive the grades. Canvas has a very different range for the way it understands an A, a B, a B+, those kind of things. So I need you not to absolutely believe what Canvas is telling you in terms, and then they're doing like percentages at the, for the final grade. But I hope that they'll be relatively close, and I hope that I'm going to give you credit for all the credit that is due. And of course, I'm always sympathetic to my students and whatever it is that they need. But this is my last real call to you to buckle down one more time, to get through the materials, of course, to prepare yourself for the final exam and to do the best job you possibly can. All the materials there for you, the videos are there for you. You guys all know that it's a built-in kind of review. If you want to go back and find something, you can almost always find, of course, even by fast forwarding, you just wait for me to hold up the cue card that says the potential identification or whatever else that is important at that moment. You have the notes available to you for the class. These are good class notes, not perfect, but they're pretty darn good, and they give you a lot of help to kind of aim you at things. You have, of course, the study sheet to kind of focus your attention. All these things are there for you. All that will be coming to you, of course, is ultimately the final exam, which is exactly the same as the other tests, of course, in terms of what you have to do. You have to write on one essay question. You have to write on 5 identifications out of the 8 that are there. So nothing really different as far as the format of the process is concerned. There are specific instructions for the final exam. I will make those very clear to you when I publish the exam. So make sure that you follow those instructions the way that they are intended, and it all should work out fine. Okay. Anyway, remember that you can always email me through Canvas, through my college email for any any questions or issues you might have. Anyway, but I do wish you all the best, of course. I hope that you are all tremendously well and safe, and that we're going to get through this semester and hopefully finish out very strongly, very well. But anyway, so always good to talk to you. See you soon.